Good morning, State Board of Education members. I'm a parent of a 6th grader at Lake Travis Middle School in Austin, and I am an attorney. I will address human sexuality instruction in the public schools. All human sexuality instruction is taught in two ways. One is risk avoidance, and one is risk reduction. The TEKS, K through 12, clearly state avoid alcohol, avoid drugs, avoid harming yourself, and avoid sexual activity. This is risk avoidance, and it promotes the healthiest outcomes. We do not teach children to safely drink alcohol or safely do drugs or safely harm themselves, but districts do allow curricula to teach safe ways to engage in sexual activity. This method is called risk reduction. The risk reduction teaching method assumes that all or most teens from the age of 12 are sexually active. Rather than teaching students to avoid sexual activity, it teaches the students safe ways to engage in sexual activity. I have reviewed the content of about a dozen curricula. The risk reduction curricula all have one thing in common. They all violate Texas law for many reasons, but most importantly because the underlying premise is this: teens can engage in safe sexual activity if teens limit their sexual activity to feeling on each other or use a condom. Because this is the premise of every risk reduction curricula, safe sex is their harmful devotion. And devoting more attention to abstinence from sexual activity than any other behavior, as the law requires, does not happen. As you are aware from previous speakers, the SHAC was established to assist the district in choosing human sexuality instruction. And this is where the problem lies, and the door has been left open. The local SHAC has been hijacked by abortion providers and their affiliates who pimp perversion, shrouded in deceptive summaries and perceived expertise, but does not encourage optimal health and is not in the best interest of the student. I got involved in this issue in 2012. I and a group of parents campaigned for the removal of the risk reduction program, It's Your Game, in Houston successfully. The same organization that pushed It's Your Game all over Houston in 2012 is the same organization that is pushing and promoting and pimping Draw the Line, Respect the Line all over San Antonio today. Unfortunately, there is no process by which a parent or concerned citizen can file a grievance or threaten a consequence against a district. So, as a concerned taxpayer and parent, I inform others with the truth about what's allowed in the classroom and encourage lawmakers and policymakers like yourselves to create or find a way to stop this from happening. Please consider supporting or sponsoring a legislative recommendation to button up this back door of the SHAC, and let's be about excellence.
Any questions? Yes, Ms. Perez.
Madam Chair, thank you so much. And Ms. Clark, thank you so much for being here today. I just have a quick question for you. So, through your testimony, I hear and understand your passion. So, are you aware that there is a waiver that you can sign to opt out of that health education? Because I'm sure that your perspective is not shared by every single family throughout the state. So I think that, as a parent in public education, it would be incumbent upon each family to make that personal decision and allow their students, if they want that taught to them, to have them make that decision. So I think by going to the legislature and taking that option away from those families that would like for their students to learn something like this, we're keeping that education from those families. So are you aware that you can opt out of this, and would that be your choice?
I am aware that you can opt out. I got involved in this issue when I did not have a student in public schools. And like many of you on this board, you likely do not have a student in public schools, but you serve on this board because you care about all students. And that's why I got involved. The opting out, people don't know. My research, my experience for the last 4 years is parents have no idea what the content of these curriculums are. When I tell parents in my district, Lake Travis, that Planned Parenthood teaches sex ed in the high schools, they have no idea. So, if there was a way that I could shout from the mountaintops to every parent what's really going on in the classroom, I wouldn't have to be here today because it wouldn't be happening.
Mr. Rowley. Can you?
Well, Madam Chair, I just had a conversation with legal. It has nothing to do with this topic, by the way, and I appreciate very much you bringing this to our attention. But there's a concern that we have that as we continue to discuss these items that are not posted for discussion, beyond simply hearing testimony and then referring these individuals to any appropriate agency or another area to go, we're violating the Open Meeting Act. And so when we continue to engage in discussion on those items, there's a concern about that. Am I correct? Vaughn, if you don't mind responding to that.
That is correct. Under the Open Meetings Act, there are three things you can do when someone makes an inquiry beyond what's posted on there. You can make a statement of specific factual information given in a response to the inquiry. You can make a recitation of existing policy in response to the inquiry, or you can deliberate about whether to put this subject on the next agenda. So any discussion beyond that, I would suggest that you don't hold that in your meeting, and you go outside and speak with the testifiers individually.
Mr. Bradley, then Mr. Mercer.
Well, using his direction, I would like to make an inquiry if the possibility of bringing this forth before the board. The Speaker, Vaughn, spoke about an current policy is an opt-out provision. Is that something that is in code? Is that in policy? Or is that
Law.
in legislative? Or is it board rule?
Law.
As law. Then I would suggest to the Speaker that maybe you petition the legislature and find some like-minded folks to change the rule to an opt-in, because you're absolutely right, ignorance of what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Mercer. Let's keep it
I
to
tried to.
particular question.
Well, I just want to thank the parents right here, especially the ones from my district, because they were very positive comments about Northeast ISD, wonderful comments about the superintendent, Dr. Gotardi, and thank you for that. And their focus was just this, in fact, they're very clear. They love what they're at, but the focus is on this one item.
Okay.
So my question would be, I guess I cannot pursue the funding question I have, because that would be going too deep, but should this be a consideration just for either before one of the committees we have on instruction or to the full board as an agenda item for the future?
We can discuss that at some
To keep
point.
us in legal,
Yeah.
to respect the parents and their desire to discuss this, but also keep us in the right legal framework.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.